After so many books and movies about Greek mythology, it is very hard to explain a different organizational chart for gods and demons of other cultures. In this series, for the sake of simplicity, we use the same format. Say, we'll use miles to show distance instead of farsang. The same way Herodotus thought of Ahura Mazda as Zeus, because he also didn't want to dwell in the widely different perspectives of the two gods, so that he can get to the topic of his interest, which was storytelling. Welcome to part 3 of Iranian Demons, all Ahriman's men. As in all religions, Zoroastrians adopted some of the older demons into their own, the same way they had adopted their supreme god Ahura Mazda, the creator of life and wisdom. And now, when we say Ahura Mazda, we think of Avesta. Therefore, the demons we will talk about today have been around for thousands of years before Zoroaster, and they just got fire baptized into Zoroastrianism. Iranians are so fascinated with the Divs that we have to break this topic to two parts to do a little bit of justice. Zoroastrian demons as detailed in Avestan Bundahesh, and the Divs who battled the Ferdowsi's heroes in Shahnameh. So we have Zoroastrian bad boys and the Ferdowsi's bad boys too. Here are the most important demons of Zoroastrianism. First, Div Sokhanchin, or the slanderer demon, who according to Bundahesh is that who brings and carries the talk of things which is non-existent. It speaks so convincingly that men would strike and destroy each other without thinking for themselves. They rarely stick by their stories, and at the end they are not to be blamed for anything. Slanderer Divs have fantastically smooth, glossy body that reflects images all around, so you may think of fictions and take them as facts. The demon's favorite phrase is, "Psst, have you heard?" Or, "Hey, have you heard blah 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 blah?" To ward off the slanderer Div, Zoroastrian priests have a recommendation: pray. But pray with positive thoughts, because bad thoughts are Ahrimani, or evil inspired. As you know, Zoroastrians' 3 commandments are all in positive terms. Think good thoughts, say good words, and do good deeds. That's all there is to their commandments. Compare these commandments with other famous gods who came from the same neighborhood, who forbids you of this and prohibits you of that. And just because I made this comparison, you shalt not click it away. The other famous demon is Div Rashk, or jealousy, with his eyes never looking straight ahead to where he's going. Div Rashk always asks curious questions such as, why are you doing all the hard work and someone else always gets the benefit? Why the grass is greener on the other side of the fence? Or as the Persians say, why the neighbor's hen is bigger as a goose? This Div is also shown with evil eyes that constantly moves around. Once you fall to this Div, you don't look in front of you. You always look in the past, where you have been, rather than ahead, where you might be going. To better understand the Iranian demons, it is important to learn about the duality in the Persian culture. They are so fascinated with this subject that even though their history has been interrupted for dozens of times, they have divided their history into two parts, before Islam and after Islam. They have two names for their countries. Sometimes it is Persia, and sometimes it is Iran. For one moment, they celebrate their victories, and a moment later, rejoice in their defeat even more vigorously. Sometimes this duality gets convoluted and perhaps confusing to you. But for most, you may be victim of the same oxymoronism. Let me share with you a piece of ancient history. I am telling a story, mind you, but as far as the Divs are concerned, the migration of the Aryans to Iran and India has given to Div a unique perspective that I like to share. Aryans' migration took an opposite turn when it came to demons. And that's why there are two opposite understandings of the word Div. It is said that the Aryans who migrated to India adopted the natives' culture, although those who migrated to Iran, for instance, imposed their own culture on the Iranian natives. They even changed the name of the country to their own without asking the locals what they called their lands. This is why the demons of one culture is the god of the other. The Persian word for Div means ugly, rough, backward, and thus they are called Ahriman's men, simply the devil's workers. This word for Div entered into English as devil. Now let's go to India. The Sanskrit word for them is Diva, a shining one, or Diva in English. They are pretty, heavenly, and well, you could say divine. The word also appears in Dios, Deus, Zeus, demon, devil. Simply said, the Dios and the devil seem deeply rooted in the same word. That's actually why no matter how Torah's God is opposite to Bible's God, somehow we have accepted them as one and the same. To see how we can understand double meaning with the same word, let's look at the Div Kin. Div Kin, or the demon of revenge, is one worshipped like gods, particularly by losers. This demon is blind. You have seen many pictures of them, or perhaps a statue of them. This, although being blind, he has big mouth, so you cannot ignore him. He often shouts at you, "Get back, get even, inflict pain and do harm because this is justice." You sure can see how this Zoroastrian demon has advantage over other demons, can't you? Whereas people don't find any positive connotation about the Divs that they have fallen for, those who are succumbed by Div Kin are proud to call their revenge with a positive word. The demon finds different ways in every culture and in every language to find empathy. His favorite verse in English is, for example, eye for an eye, although he often takes ears, nose, hands, and legs as bonuses, but never declares any of them. Followers of this Div take pride and satisfaction in inflicting 100 times more evil to retaliate a real or imaginary wrong as justice. Okay, You may be type B and irritated with those forceful Zoroastrian divs and how they may have invaded your peaceful domain. Take heart. In the next episode of All Ahriman's Men, we also look at some of the more laid-back demons, such as Bushasp and Tambali, who will sing you lullabies and talk you nicely in bed around 7:30 a.m. Also, we will see the fantastic divs of Ferdowsi. Everyone hates their magical powers, perhaps because no human has them. Oh, how clearly Ambrose Bierce had described them 1,000 years later as competitors. The white demon, who can turn the perfect day into midnight darkness, and Act 1, who seemed to have the head of an elephant and the body of a human. The Iranian divs are said to do everything backward, so we are obliged to explore the Persian literature and arts about divs to see which one really talks backward. See you in the next episode of All Ahriman's Men.